Hello, everyone.
Well,
It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. How you doing, Les?
very good, Fred. How about you?
Okay, we got a lot to get to this hour.
We
We're going
do,
to
we do.
do Insurance Institute of Highway Safety Awards, the top
Just
19
down the street.
vehicles. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good information, right?
Absolutely, and it's a marvelous facility, and you can visit it if you do it in advance notice. It's very interesting, and just lots of stuff. Dodge is confirming the Hemi,
It's not
as
going
we
away.
suspected. Well, it shouldn't, and just a whole lot of things going on, especially over in England when my favorite toy, the AC Cobra, is going to have a different engine.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting, right?
That's it's pretty,
I
yeah.
would ask
Why
our
not?
audience if it had a four-cylinder with almost 400 horsepower, would you buy it, an AC Cobra, as opposed to a V8?
Yeah, I mean, the point always was the most horsepower that you could put in it. What do you care what the engine is?
Yeah. And then talking about performance, this might not be what you would consider a performance car, but you should. This is the Volvo V60 T8, and this is the Polestar Engineered edition. And it has 455 horsepower, and it's a station wagon. They even call
Yep.
it an estate on the
Yep.
website, and I was real impressed with this. We'll have a full at the wheel review.
Yeah, these Volvo station wagons over the years, the T series, have always been hot rods. I like them.
Yeah, me too. So we're going to get to that. We're also going to tell you about a 2000 Mustang SVT Cobra R that was sitting in the showroom with only 15 miles on it, and somebody decided to ram their car into it. So,
Well, why not? And Toyota is going to change one of the worst model names. How about that?
yeah. Well, that's true. It is it is something that needs to be changed for sure.
It certainly does.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and more when we get rolling on Cruise Control.
This is Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine, and you know us. We're always with you. And I'm Les Jackson. The guy over there, or is he over there? Fred Staub is also raring to go. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, and good news. I don't really think we have any bad news.
No, but there's been some bad news in the auto industry, that's for sure,
Well, yes,
throughout the
yes.
year. But yeah, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety recently awarded 19 vehicles with
Yeah.
some of the highest safety awards. You know, I like IIHS because it made safety and marketable positive.
They sure did. Yeah. Before that, safety was okay. Well, we'll work on it a little bit. So, yeah, we'll run through some of those, and we're also speaking of running. There's that for a segue.
Yeah.
Dodge confirms the Hemi stays put in the 2025 Durango.
Yeah. You know, this was not a given, Les.
No.
Because they had that boss in there, Carlos Tavares, who hated the Hemi. But now it seems like it's going to stick around for 25 and maybe longer. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that. And also, there's a new in-car warning that will be required in all 2027 models. And it's interesting that this is required by automakers, but it's not a legal requirement in many states. But we'll talk about that.
It is interesting. Frankly, it should have been a legal requirement for a long time. We'll tell you what it is. And we're going to have, you are going to give us an at-the-wheel review of the Volvo V60 T8 and tell us all about your speeding tickets.
Yeah, this is the Polestar Engineered model. You can tell it by the gold Brembo calipers and the gold seat belts. We'll talk about that. It's 455 horsepower, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and I tell you, it was surprising. It is a hybrid sleeper. I would call it a hybrid sleeper for sure.
That as it should be.
So we will have a full at the wheel. Look at that altitude, as they say, gives it attitude. Yes. It is kind of low down, and I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed with the acceleration. But we'll have a full at the wheel review of that coming up real soon on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We will be right back. When we come back, we'll tell you about some of the safest cars you can buy. So stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We're glad you're along for the ride. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, as I was saying earlier in the show, the great thing about it is this group took safety, which was really not a big selling point for vehicles, and they established an award that basically made, if you had the award, it meant that you got better sales, right?
Well, not only that, it made the public acutely aware of safety. And suddenly, and I don't mean like last week, I mean 20, 25 years ago, suddenly the public started saying, I want to choose a car largely based on the safety level that it's rated at.
Yeah. And
which is damned important.
And then it became a competition. Safety Pick Plus is one of the best. Whether you like them or not, if you're driving at night, those LED lights, that is thanks to this, because many manufacturers would put halogen lights in their base models, or maybe two steps up from their base model, and when those vehicles didn't get good ratings because of that, well, LED lights became pretty much standard, right?
Yep, absolutely. Backup cameras and all of the features involved, very important stuff.
Yeah, manufacturers, if they get a bad test result, will actually go back and redesign vehicles, and you'll see, vehicles built after August 2024, get a better rating. So it's competitive, and as I say, if you want to get something done like safer vehicles, make it a way for companies to earn more money if you have a vehicle. So let's look at some of them. 19 vehicles from 11 brands earned the Top Safety Pick or Top Safety Pick Plus. Pick Plus is the highest award you can get. So the 10 winners of the higher tier Top Safety Pick Plus are the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the Infiniti QX60, and then you got a couple from Mazda, right?
Right. Mazda's, they're doing well. The CX-70, The CX-70 hybrid, of course, the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and you have a couple other, well, at least one other from Mercedes.
Yeah, the GLC and the Rivian R1S,
Yep.
Subaru Forester, Toyota Tundra Crew Cab, and the Volvo XC90 plug-in hybrid. No surprise on Volvo.
Not at all.
Yeah, they were so 9 winners of the base top safety pick. We have some of those. They were Audi Q8, Ford F-150 Crew Cab, Ford F-150 Extended Cab, Infiniti QX80, Kia K4, Mercedes E-Class, Nissan Kicks, Toyota Corolla Sedan, and Toyota Crown Signia, one of my favorite vehicles that I tested this year.
Absolutely. And so you need, these ratings are not easy to get. I mean, these vehicles are actually tested down in Charlottesville at their test facility. They're crashed.
Right. They buy them, they crash them.
That's right. Yeah, they don't crash yours. I mean, they buy their own. But the fact is, if you do well there, you're going to do really well on the road. Two additional evaluations are the seatbelt reminders and the latch ease of use. They're not part of the awards, but they are, there are those nuisance things that if they don't work, people complain.
Yeah. Interesting that 2 vehicles did not qualify for either award, and headlights were the cause of one of them, and that is the Cadillac Lyriq, a new model that certainly has LED headlights. It must be headlight design for some reason they did not like. And the 2024 Ford Bronco Sport did not qualify for either award. The side test is what got the Bronco Sport.
You would think the side test by now, everybody qualifies, but we'd be wrong on that.
Yeah. And then 6 model year 2025 vehicles, the Audi Q7, Genesis G80, Genesis GV80, and Hyundai Tucson, Mazda CX-50, and Rivian R1T were retested after evaluations or modifications due to redesign. So there you have it, some of the safest vehicles you can own and drive. We'll be right back with more Cruise Control. Stay tuned. What do you think? Will the Hemi stay even beyond 2025? Let us know in the comments. Of course, it's been extended in the Dodge Durango for 2025, but maybe it will go beyond that. Will it make its way into the new Charger? Let us know in the comments.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. We are going into the power mode right now.
Power, more power, more power.
And when you talk about power, you have to talk about Hemis because they're famous for it.
Yep.
And Dodge themselves have announced that the Durango SRT Hellcat, powered by the venerable, lovable 710 horsepower supercharged 6.2 Hemi. Well, it's going to continue to be produced. That's the important thing. And there's no end date established at the moment. So
yes. It was supposed to end the end of this year.
That's right.
And not carry over.
Now that their CEO Tavares is gone, the engineers at Dodge have said, "Hey, we got lots of Hemis. Let's use them."
and Tim Kuniskis is back. He is not heading up Dodge, but let's just say his influence probably extends beyond Ram. And the good thing is it's not only that 707 horsepower Hellcat 6.2 liter Hemi, but it's also in the Durango RT we'll get the 5.7 liter Hemi, and that will continue into the 2025 calendar year as well. I think that they will just keep doing this. They will continue to do this, and I don't know. Maybe they'll come out with a new Hemi. Who knows? This is one of the biggest stories that it just changed when Travares left the building, didn't it?
Literally.
He hated it. He did not want it.
He hated it. He didn't understand it, first of all.
He didn't understand it.
It seems like by the time he left the parking lot, they had made the decision. Now, Mr. Prognosticator.
When the bumper had just cleared the fence.
Right. Yeah, don't let us stand in your way.
Well, that's sad. I mean, he's running a company he didn't understand.
Exactly.
And plus, he was kind of still in the electric mode. The whole industry was switching to hybrid.
And he didn't understand those either.
He did. He didn't understand. I just don't understand.
Well, he was a numbers guy. He wasn't not a car guy.
He did not want to spend on the money on the what do they call them? Not carbon taxes, but they pay like a penalty for.
The CAFE, corporate average fuel economy thing. But Mr. Prognosticator,
yes,
do you think that the Chargers, which are currently now electric, are going to suddenly offer a Hemi-powered version?
Not right away. I think, though, that when they say the current generation of Hemi will not fit in the Charger, they say that. I know you can make it fit, get your Sawzall, but that's a parse. The current generation of Hemi won't fit, but maybe the new generation, which might be smaller displacement, and a hybrid would.
That's right.
What do you think?
I think so. Really, these guys are good engineers, and they can do this. And when the customers, wouldn't you if you had if you love the Chargers, you love the looks, you love the Hemi, and you could now suddenly buy a smaller displacement Hemi in a hybrid with that electric boost? Come on.
Yeah, electric off-the-line boost, and maybe something that's 4 liters or something like that for getting that great sound. Yeah, I think we will see it, but that's just me. I don't know anything more than my gut tells me.
Guessing.
They're not going to let Ford be the only one manufacturing a rear-wheel drive V8. They're going to have that too. I think they will. Chevy, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on at GM. I really don't.
I'm not really convinced GM knows what's going on at GM.
That's a problem.
But that's probably a little harsh.
Yeah, but I do think that there will be a smaller displacement Hemi with a hybrid drivetrain that will just rip off the line with electric power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Is it a possibility? Because they want the sound. They want the V8 sound. No matter how many speakers you add outside and say, hey, well, this sounds cool in that, it's not a V8. Right?
Well, also imagine police pursuit versions.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great for the Durango police pursuit. While we're on that, Les, V8 cars, let's talk about AC Cobra. AC Cobra is still building cars. They're a European company.
Yes, they are. AC owns the rights to the name. They, of course, own the rights to the design of the car because they designed it 60 plus years ago, and I'm intimately familiar with them.
Yes, and right now most of them come, or all of them come, with the Ford's Coyote V8, which is a
Right.
nice pairing of that. But now they're talking about an optional four-cylinder instead, 395 horsepower with a six-speed manual or a DCT transmission. It could be even Volkswagen's EA888 engine, but no one has confirmed this. It could be.
That's right.
Could it be the turbocharged 2.3 out of the Ford Mustang?
It could be. The fact is, if you've never driven one of these things, you really oughta.
They're an engine with a seat, basically.
They're an engine with a seat. They weigh 2,000 pounds with a full tank of gas, put out close to 400 horsepower, which means that it doesn't accelerate, it launches, it jumps, which is why it was called the Cobra in the first place. And you really need to experience the feel of it, the terror of it, because it's a handful. You better be a good driver, but they're wonderful machines. That's why they're legendary. And I, being somewhat of an expert on these things, I wouldn't mind a 400 horsepower four-cylinder at all.
Yeah. Much lighter in the nose. And we've seen there's even four-cylinder AMG, the GT40 AMG, that, maybe people are opening up to this. That has over 400 horsepower from a turbocharged four-cylinder. I'm betting it might be that 2.3 turbocharged EcoBoost engine that is available in the Mustang.
It makes sense. For tradition, you would like to have a Ford-powered logo on the engine, but anything.
Here's
you don't
my
need much.
theory, Les. Everything's a circle, right? Didn't they have a four-cylinder at first?
The AC Ace had a four-cylinder. The AC Bristol was an inline six.
Okay.
Which was actually, pretty stout, about 160, 170 horsepower.
Yeah.
And heavy, typical British heavy iron engine.
Mm-hmm.
But you pull it out, put a 289 in it, and you
wake it up.
You wake it up, and make sure there's lots of clear area in front of you.
Well, listen, we're going to take a break on Cruise Control. We will be right back. When we come back, we're going to tell you about a new in-car warning system. Every vehicle is going to get it in 2027, but it's not even required in certain other states. We'll tell you about it when we come back. Les, you've had a lot of experience with Cobras. Have they all been 289 powered, or some even bigger power?
The 427s.
It's almost ridiculous, a 427 in that.
Well, the thing about the 427s is that they were, first of all, incredibly torquey, and but the first 600 and whatever number were 289s. Actually, the first ones were 260s, but 289 quickly took over. And those were putting out, if Holman and Moody built the engines, they were putting out 350 to 375 horsepower.
Even today, that's a decent number from a small block.
With 1,800 pounds of car.
Yeah.
And Shelby's versions were 306, which is,
punched out.
But as cars in SCCA racing got faster and faster, and the Corvettes, the Stingrays of the early 60s were super light, and they also were 2,000 pounds eventually.
Wow.
Instead of 3,600 pounds, and they had well over 400 horsepower. So
we're coming back, so we'll be right back.
Yep.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. We are rolling through our stories today because we have a whole lot. And one of the things, frankly, I kind of thought it already was a regulation, but because all the cars have it. That's anyway. In 2027 model year, all vehicles have to have a seat, excuse me, a seatbelt warning for the back seats. And I don't know. I kind of thought they already were there.
Yeah, apparently not. I think what you're thinking of is the alert went to check the back seat.
Yes.
When you get out. Yes. So, because people have left children in the back.
And by the way, that alert, and you see it all the time too. That alert is incredibly useful. And I mean, I've seen it light up when there's like 10 pounds on the back seat.
Yeah. Because you always carry around 10 pounds of potatoes.
And you can't miss it.
Yeah. Well, I think this is good because you should wear your seatbelt, whether you're in the front seat or back seat.
Yes,
there have been people killed not wearing their seatbelt because they would vault through the windshield with their head first, and that doesn't really work.
Exactly. And this happens all the time, especially young people.
Yeah.
Teenagers with their buddies in the back seat, and the front seat passengers may be wearing them or nobody's wearing them, and you see it on the news way too often when they go off the road, hit a tree, and the rear passengers literally vault over the front passengers and through the windshield, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, that happened to I believe it was a CBS correspondent in New York City.
Wow.
And literally he went flying. I mean, the guy had to stop quickly, and this guy was not belted in, and he went out through the windshield.
Yeah.
With terrible results.
Wear the belts.
So anyway, this is going to be required. What's interesting is it includes 2027 new passenger vehicles, including 3-row SUVs. So I guess the third row also, because it makes sense. Larger vehicles like multi-role passenger vans and vehicles with gross weight over 10,000 pounds are exempt. And it's not even a law in certain states that you have to wear your seatbelts in the back seat. Not that you shouldn't, because it's not a law, but it just makes sense. You got to stick with it. You can't hold on tight in a crash, or I'll just brace my arms.
you cannot, unless you're doing 5 miles an hour, but at any speed, I don't care how strong you are, you cannot stop yourself.
No. NHTSA estimates, and this seems low, that only 50 lives annually will be saved with rear seat and enhanced front seatbelt warnings. Seems like that's a low number. I think it would be
seems
higher.
Like a very low number.
Yeah. You do not want to be ejected in a crash because the car will protect you. It's designed to protect you, but if it's sort of like, not putting this chin strap on your helmet and going racing. It's like, it will stay on.
Strangely, seatbelts are not required in school buses.
Yeah. They do have them. Some of them do have them. I've seen them.
Some do.
And they have shoulder belts
don't.
too. Yeah.
And it's very interesting, and the studies have been made, and I don't believe it, but I believe the studies, and I believe the data, and children are generally not as likely to be killed in a school bus crash,
Okay.
even without the belts. They like
What if
sort
the
of
bus
bounce around.
flips over? I
Well,
mean, you're
that's
going to
a
hit your
whole
head on the roof, you know?
absolutely, yeah. That's a whole different thing. But
I have a
fortunately,
question for you. You restored a number of cars. Is it a good idea to put in shoulder belts or even 4-point or 5-point harness, probably 4-point on the street to an older car? You're not engineering them. You don't know the engineering of the
no.
seat. Can the
That's
seat? But is it better than just having a lap belt, in your opinion?
yes, it is.
Okay.
It, it's even more important in an older car because you really don't have a lot of safety around you.
Yeah.
But again, you have to engineer it. You could bolt this thing in, but it would pull right out
Yeah.
in
You
a
need
crash.
reinforcing plates through the
You do.
steel, and yeah. So there are certain tips that you can do when you're upgrading a vehicle that will make it somewhat safer. These things, I've heard seats collapse. If you have stock seats and you have straps across them,
Yeah,
the whole seat can bend, and then the belts are now loose because they were, using the
that
seat as a
is
reinforcement.
that is true. And I read about one person that had um, a, a Chevy Malibu, mid 60s Chevy Malibu, and
Right?
they installed the automatic track seat belts.
Oh
Remember that used to
my,
go
though.
above,
Yeah,
which was a
boy.
terrible. But anyway, they pulled them off some car and they put him in, and they got killed in it because it just fell apart in a crash.
Yeah, they would have been better with racing belts, four
Yeah,
point. Yeah, I
yeah.
think like a 4-point. I guess they never would think of going to a 4-point harness in a car because people wouldn't like it. But it seems like
People
it'd be
won't wear
better
it.
than a shoulder. You've got
It's much better, and
balanced support.
I, in obviously in the Cobra, I'm very comfortable with a 4-point harness.
Hmm.
You feel like you're not going to get thrown out.
Right, right, exactly. So 5 points what they wear in dragsters and that, so you don't slip under the belts. It goes between your
Oh
legs.
yeah, yeah,
So, but yeah, it's a weird but true. I've driven race cars where you're belted in with the 5-point and arm restraint. You actually feel better
yeah.
because you feel like, well,
You do.
I'm.
And I've been in one with the Hans device,
Hmm.
and you're in there.
Yeah. I
You're
think
not
back when I
moving.
did it, we didn't have the Hans device, but you had this thing that went under your horse collar. They called it. It went under your helmet
Yeah,
and prevented your neck from getting hurt. Although you were so packed in that car, it would be hard for you to move around and everything.
it's yeah. I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
Um, but the public won't do that. So
No. People get afraid that their clothes will get messed up or whatever. But hey, I don't think it's a bad thing to have in a
no,
car. Um, let's talk a little bit about this. I call this I call this BMW with love. There was a dealer, um, and by the way, since Russia invaded Ukraine, BMW has not sent any cars to Russia, right? But there was a dealer in Hanover, Germany, that got caught selling more than 100 cars, new BMWs, to Russia, 7 Series. And BMW found this. They said it was willing and able to cancel the orders. It believes they it violated the sanctions. This was an article in Business Insider. And, I wonder what happens to this dealer because that is bad news, isn't it?
I would think. Um, how do you not get caught
Right. Where'd the
shipping
cars go?
cars?
Do
I
you
mean, it's
say they
not like
went somewhere else? You just lie?
yeah,
Or
it's not like a wristwatch. It's a car.
If you remember, when the guy in Rocket Man in Korea, when his
Oh
dad
yeah,
passed away, they had a Lincoln Continental, and we were like, how did they get that there? And
that's
there
right.
are rogue dealers that will sell to these places, and will, they'll just try to get away with
Ju-
it. Sell
Just
it and
like
resell
rogue,
it.
yeah, just like rogue weapons dealers. They.
Yes. Yes, I guess
Um,
selling a BMW to someone is not as bad as selling them a rocket-propelled grenade, right? That's my takeaway for this hour at Cruise Control.
that's right. So yeah, but I would think this dealer. I don't know if they could cancel the guy's franchise,
I don't know how it works in Germany. No.
but I'm sure that things are not comfortable for him.
Uh, Allocations for new vehicles will be on the lower side, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
hey, they weren't on the lower side with the Volvo V60 T8 Polestar Engineered Edition. We're going to have that at the wheel review when we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staab and Les Jackson. It's at the wheel time again, and this time we're looking at a vehicle with a very long name, the Volvo V60 T8 all-wheel drive Polestar Engineered plug-in hybrid. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this at the wheel review.
Thank you very much, Fred. That was quite informative.
Who doesn't love a station wagon? Matter of fact,
I
on the
love it.
Volvo site, they call it an estate, which is the European name for a station wagon, isn't it?
That is correct and good for them.
Now, I should clarify, this is Polestar Engineered. It is not a Polestar. Polestar is their electric performance brand of Volvo. But this has been breathed on by the engineers. What powers this very cool estate wagon? A 2-liter turbocharged direct injected engine with electric motor. 8-speed Geartronic automatic trans with start-stop. So the total power is 455 horsepower, which is quite stout, and 523 pound-feet of torque. So 312 from the engine, 143 from the electric motor. It is a plug-in hybrid as well, so it will get 41 miles of electric range, electric-only range. So this is efficient and performance-oriented. I love that when you get a little bit of everything,
Yeah, proving it is possible to
It
get
is
a
possible.
little of everything.
Yes, it is a total hybrid sleeper. It is a total hybrid sleeper. On the inside, it's got these kind of orangey seat belts right next to the really well-designed seats, which are a mix of leather and cloth, and they have adjustable knee bolster underneath, and very comfortable seats. Very comfortable seats. These color seat belts, though, denote Polestar Engineered. They actually match the calipers. High-end materials abound, soft and fabric, soft touch and fabric materials on the door cards make them look great, and very high-end plastics as well. On the inside, beautiful dash with some real metal trim, textured trim. You get the navigation right there in the bezel. YouTube is available. Look, you can get cruise
Look at
control right on the dash. And the nice interior continues over to the passenger side. Out back, decent rear room, leg room, and space for passengers. Also get those orangey, yellowy seat belts. Great leg room, and basically you can't see much if you're sitting in that seat because you're looking at the back of the of driver or front passenger seat, but that's okay. You do get heated seats. You do get a couple of USB-C plugs to plug in whatever you got, and you will be nice and cozy back there. All in all, great interior. Yes, it has the crystal shifter in there, and sporty, elegant, great materials, high end. Out back, same thing. They really trimmed the compartment in the back, storage compartment. It's one of those high compartments, so you can really stack things up. You got a couple of hooks for bags, little stowage area on the side there. That's for your skis, Les Jackson. You can shove your skis through there, through that fold down seat. 12-volt plug. I know you always look for those. There's one there. And underneath, a little storage, but just an inflator kit because the battery is underneath there. Interesting, it was padded and insulated almost. I wonder if that's for cold weather. Who knows? Under the hood, you got that Turbo 4 with the hybrid system, nicely packaged underneath. Neat job. Volvo does a pretty good job of that. Always the hood opens way high up on Volvos. You could almost pull the engine without pulling the hood. You get Öhlins adjustable shock dampers. And they are part of that Polestar Engineered package. You got that little knurled knob you can adjust on there. And you also get a cowl brace as well. Look for those gold calipers, those Brembo brakes, and that is a sign, a subtle sign that is Polestar Engineered. There's also some subtle badging on there as well. I was really impressed with the way this thing drove. I mean, the smoothness of the hybrid system, the ability to point and shoot with this car when you're making lane changes, and I like the fact that it is a sleeper. I mean, it looks like the the V60, I should say. It looks like other V60s. You really can't. You might say, well, that's just a family safe wagon, and it is very safe. It's got the blind spot information system. It's got collision avoidance. It's got oncoming mitigation by braking. You know, you're going to have a safe vehicle, but you're going to have a performance vehicle too. Laminated panoramic sunroof with power shade, heated rear seats, as I said, front heated seats and steering wheel, tailored sport steering wheel. That's nice. I just was impressed with it. I thought it was the all-everything thing. You can have a family car and a performance car and an efficient car all in one. So that doesn't come cheap, though. So let's talk a little bit about that pricing. The manufacturer suggested retail price for the V60 T8 all-wheel drive Polestar Engineered plug-in hybrid is $71,250. The Polestar Engineered features include Napa leather front sport seats and leatherette rear seats with open grid textiles, gold colored seat belts, charcoal headliner, a graphical head-up display, 360 degrees surround view camera, park assist, unique Polestar Engineering chassis and suspension, including those Öhlins dampers, Polestar Engineered stiffer springs, front Brembo brakes with calipers in gold color, lower center of gravity, meaning they slammed it, Les Jackson.
What size are the wheels?
I'm not sure what the size of the wheels are actually. 19-inch alloy. So they're not huge. They're not huge. Bolens and Wilkins premium sound, gloss black integrated roof rails, high gloss black mesh grille, high gloss black window trim, and the crystal gear lever. Okay, so that's all part of the Polestar Engineered package. We popped for the luggage cover for $390, which is an expensive luggage cover. And the destination charge, $1,195, for a total retail price of $72,835. $72,835. But you got a vehicle that can do just about anything. And, you know, you can have your cake and eat it too. It's a safe family vehicle, but it's also a performance vehicle as well. So electricity, it's rated at charge time is 5 hours on a 240 volt charger, 74 mpge, and then gasoline only, 31 miles per gallon, and a combined city highway of 44, which is not bad.
Not bad at all. Really, there's an awful lot of car here. For even though it's $72,000, just a heck of a lot of car.
It is, and I like that it's so stealthy. I really do. By the way, final assembly point is Torslanda, Sweden, and country of origin, engine parts, Sweden, transmission parts are Japan. I was impressed with it. I like, first of all, I like the V60 because it is an estate wagon. It is a wagon.
Yep.
And you can get the cross-country version of this, which is the raised-up version with a little bit of higher altitude to it. But this one, I tell you what, I love the way it looked. I love the way it drove. It's a keeper. It's a cool vehicle. The V60 T8 all-wheel drive Polestar Engineered from Volvo. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.